Hello, hello, hello. Hooligan Soccer Podcast coming at you on this Thursday morning for our EPL weekly special, as always, with myself, Gary Stryker, and a Sydney FC supporting Qooligan, as always. How are you, Qooligan?
Yeah,
Good morning.
Yep. You know, it's the way it is. Sometimes you got to rep the antipodes.
Indeed. So we are covering Premier League, having obviously wrapped up the Champions League yesterday, which had some
Hell of a Champions League.
Interesting Champions League game week, that is for sure. Of course, we would be remiss if we did not give ourselves a plug and say hooligan-soccer.com is where you can find all of the ramblings, writings, musings, and even banter and, dare I say, somewhat abuse, perhaps, as well, that we sort of give out. So much so that we actually received some fan mail, can you believe it or not, as well, from a fan by the name of...
We did receive fan mail.
By the name of Jan.
And it was supportive. It was supportive. Thank you, Jan.
It was fan mail, not hate mail as well. So, Jan, thank you very much for reaching out for that. Feedback is a gift, as always, as we believe here over at Hooligan Soccer. So please keep it coming. And as always, like, follow, subscribe. The algorithms that rule our lives would really benefit and get more of this content into the eyes and ears of relevant fans as well.
It should also be noted that every time you say the algorithms that rule our lives, it puts us further down in the search results.
We get dinged a little bit as well, yeah. And this would be the part where we'd normally do the host read ad, but unfortunately we have no beer or no erection pills or anything like that, or weight loss drugs that we're slinging, so we will save that until a later date. So, Qooligan,
brought to you free of commercial interference.
It's free, yes. Okay, so let's get into it. So Premier League this weekend, let's go chronologically. We have got Spurs against Manchester United.
Yeah, that's the one that kicks us off. It's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. And I think, I mean, if you'd have asked me this 4 or 5 weeks ago, I'd have been like, my God, Man United are toast. Amarin's going to get the sack. This is going to be the game where he gets canned. And this guy, he's like Keith Richards in a way. He just won't die. He will not die. He just keeps on surviving and sort of.
He is the cockroach of Keith Richards. Why not? Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's certainly at the beginning of the season, and even like you mentioned, a few weeks into the season, I would have thought this had to be a joke tie, right? Mm-hmm. An opportunity for us to be snarky and mean about two storied clubs that were falling on hard times, et cetera, et cetera. And it is so not that. In fact, I hesitate to say these are two clubs that are on the ascendancy, who are finding their form yet again, and dusting off the trappings of past grandeur to once again deliver outstanding soccer excellence to the fans.
It is. You mentioned the word form, and I would like to bring to the attention the fact that Spurs are again playing at home, and again they're on the yesterday.
That duck don't float.
Yeah,
anymore.
It doesn't.
Their home form is not. It's not great, but it's not terrible. No, it's not.
If you look at the form guide of just their home results, all teams' home results, they would be sitting in 17th place, just above Forest. But they have only won one game.
That's not necessarily fair. But you're also forgetting about the fact that their home form, at least in Champions League, boosts that up. So it's not really fair to say that Tottenham are crap at home. They're not great at home.
Well, they're not great, that's for sure. It's not exactly the fortress that they'd like it to be, that is for sure.
But that's not uncommon in many clubs to have this type of dip. It's rare for it to be at home. Last year, I believe Crystal Palace had one of the worst home forms. There was a period of time where they went multiple games without a win at Sellers Park.
Okay.
And that doesn't, so it's like all things in life, it's cyclical.
It is.
I do not believe, but I also do not believe that form is going to dictate what's going to happen in this game. There are so many other considerations that need to be taken into account.
Well, I think, the other one being is that they've just traveled back from the Arctic Circle as well, having sort of smashed Bodo Glimt.
No, not
Spurs.
True.
Who did they play?
No, that was Champions Week 3, not Champions Week 2,
so
not Champions Week 4.
Who did Spurs play in the Champions League and Van de Ven scored that wonder goal from his own box? Who did they play against? I'm pretty sure it was.
And it was absolutely 100% not Bodo Glimt. It was the other team in the Champions League that has the O with the slash through it, and that is
it was Copenhagen. It was against Copenhagen as well.
Let us not offend our entire Scandinavian listener base by confusing Denmark with Norway.
We are ranked. We are amateurs. No wonder
Gary's
we haven't got a sponsor
doing that.
for this show.
I'm not doing that. Okay, Gary's the one who can't tell a Dane from a Norwegian. I can.
The Viking territory. That's what it is. Yeah. Well, they have to come back from basically Scandinavia.
Is at least accurate. You are correct.
Yeah, they have to come back from Denmark. So they have had to travel. They will be tired. Man United, on the other hand, have not had to travel. So they've had all week to prepare this.
The flight from London to Copenhagen is an hour and 5 minutes, Gary.
Is it really an hour and 5?
If you're lucky.
No,
If you're lucky.
It's more than that. It takes 2 hours to fly to the south of France from London as well. So I don't think it's there. But anyway, we digress. It's becoming rapidly becoming.
Look at your geography, man. Look at your geography.
Okay, let's put the bickering aside here.
Okay.
What happens here?
Let's talk about the match.
Well, yeah, what happens here? Because Man United are in fine form, I will say, in the last Premier League game that Spurs had, which I know for a fact they played against Chelsea, and they just weren't there. They were just not at the races. I don't think they really had
they were not good. They were not good on that day.
They did not have a serious amount of serious offensive at all. It was all one-way traffic. So, and then, yeah, with Man United on the upswing as well, having sort of only lost one in the last 5, I want to say I think Man United will probably just get the edge in this, given the momentum and the form. Dare I say, you're not the biggest fan of form, but I think United will get this one, and dare I say, United all of a sudden are becoming a real team again and a sort of a bit of a threat.
And for the record, I do believe in form. I just don't believe in this voodoo of they stink at home, therefore they're going to continue to stink at home. I think
so. It was something will have to change at some point. I agree, something will, but will it be this week?
But here's the biggest issue I see with Spurs coming into this match is the fact that they are lacking consistency. They are the absolute seesaw team of this season. They're up really high one day and then they're down scraping their butts on the sand the next. They don't really have any middle ground.
Yeah.
It's either all in or all out. And I don't know which side's going to show up.
At the risk of opening up an old wound that we've just tried to stitch up as well, I think the defining sort of differentiator is whether they're playing at home or away. Because if you look at their away form, they are top of the league. They have played 5, won 4, and not lost any. Whereas at home, they're at the bottom and they've played 5, won 1, lost 3, and drawn 1. So the home form, unless you can find any other sort of statistical point. But I think we've brushed this apart. I think we're both going with Spurs to get
beating that dead horse. Go ahead.
Spurs are going to get. I think Spurs are going to take another beating here as well, like a dead horse that you've just mentioned here. Do you think, or you disagree with that?
I don't have anything left to say because you're just going to go right back to what you've been doing the whole time. Is they're playing at home, ergo they're losing. So
they're going to lose. It's okay.
Why would I bother to argue with such incredible, statistical logic?
What was I going to say? What's the old saying? You can't argue with an idiot, right? That's
move on to the next subject.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Where should we go next? Should we do Sunderland Arsenal? Now this is an interesting
I think
one.
this is a banger. Who could have thought? I don't think anybody would have thought that you could say that this is a potential championship determining match.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously,
Yep.
It is. And not because Sunderland is competing for the championship. Let's be realistic, they're not. But a loss by Arsenal here would take them off of this high flying, this real sort of high flying trend.
Form would be another word that you could use.
Yeah, but your use of form is about home versus away. Arsenal have been good everywhere.
Everywhere. They have been fantastic.
I don't care where they're playing. If you're playing Arsenal, you know what you're going to get. Really stout defense, quick counters, and a surprisingly vibrant attack.
It is, yeah.
So
it's coming together.
The question is, can Sunderland handle that? They're at home. They're at the Stadium of Light, which is a real cathedral of the sport in the north, and could be a tricky place to come into. I don't want to make predictions on this one. It's hard to say. I just hope for a really good dynamic game, and one that doesn't descend into low blocks and counters and stodginess and dare I say a lot of chippy nonsense.
Yeah.
And I think it could go into that, but it also has the potential to be an absolute, masterclass in creativity and in soccer at its finest. So let's hope it's the latter.
Yeah, let's hope it's that. I fear that it's not. I fear this is going to be one of those sort of games that Arteta will say, look, we just need to come out of here with points. And so basically we're going to keep it tight and then sort of try and squeeze out a 1-0 win here, right? I think
entirely likely.
Yeah, and that's probably why the programmers have put it at 11:30 Texas time. What is that? So 12:30 Eastern time. So it's not the early fixture or the late fixture. But also, I agree, Arsenal's form has been absolutely fantastic. But then again, so have Sunderland. I mean, no one would have predicted Sunderland would be sitting where they are, having sort of basically only lost 2 games this season and have a positive goal difference, right? They have.
I mean, I will say this: the programmers gave it its own time slot. There's no other games competing with it, so it is definitely got dedication.
Okay. That's fair, I suppose.
Right?
Yeah,
it's not unlike Everton, Fulham, and West Ham, Burnley.
Yeah,
which we are not going to go into. Those are both playing 2.5 hours earlier at 9 a.m. on your time zone. That would be 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
and we can just ignore those. But I know that the game that you really want to talk about is
Yeah, we'll get to that. But before we do that, I do just want to spend a moment on Sunderland, okay? And I will give you your platform as well.
I give you the floor, sir.
I'm actually giving you the floor here, Qooligan, as well.
Why?
I'm laying it up for you as well, because I think you uncovered an incredible bit of research during the week when we were talking through in our editorial meeting about when Sunderland are going to come undone in the December period. So do you want to just maybe talk to that just a little bit of why you think Sunderland have a potential risk of all of a sudden falling?
Oh, you're referring to AFCON.
Exactly. Yes. Go for it.
Well, it is true. Of all the Premier League clubs, Sunderland has the highest number of players that have the potential to be called up for AFCON in December. There are 9. And the only other team that comes close, I believe, is Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton has 5.
Oof. God, and just getting it worse for them, isn't it?
Here's the thing, though. I could see Sunderland has done such an amazing job of coming out of the gate, right? When you're a promoted club, you have one job, right? And that's not to get relegated. Sunderland have already almost secured enough points to give themselves, I mean, there's a lot of season left to play, but they've put themselves in such a fantastic position that they can go on a slide and not have it be life-threatening to them.
Yeah.
Right. The other promoted clubs are still in a little, Leeds and Burnley are still, they're going to be struggling in that regard.
Going to be a fight.
And of course, we're going to talk about them, but Wolverhampton are in a world of hurt.
Mm-hmm. They are.
They're in an absolute world of hurt. And that is true. AFCON is coming. It will take out a number of players, but please note, these are also potentials because none of the African teams have announced their rosters yet. So we don't know whether or not anyone of African descent or eligible to play for an African country will get called.
Yeah. And so, but you did make the point, though, which I think is also a very valid one, which is if any of these players are playing in the Premier League, the chances are they are at the top of the pile in terms of their representative countries. So there is a higher probability that they will get called up. So Sunderland for the month of, because African Cup of Nations is through December and then bleeds into a bit of early January if they get through to the final.
I believe it's almost the majority of December. And then if you advance through, you go into January. That's correct.
And so, and that is I think you appropriately called it last year as well. Is it the Crucible you called it as well, just because the fixtures in the Premier League come thick and fast as well. And so this is where, the real champions.
The Crucible is real.
Yeah.
The Crucible is real. And so you'll hear more about it. You'll hear more about it in another fixture coming up.
There will be. Exactly. So, so Sunderland, bank as many points as they can. This one will be a hard one. I fear it will be just a low block tight 1-0. It'll be sort of like, 85th minute header from sort of, from some Eze or someone like that who sort of gets it in when there's a bit of lapse in concentration from Sunderland. But that's just a prediction. Speaking of Wolves, yes, let's go on to the other big one. When I say Chelsea Wolves, this is the last game on Saturday, 3:00 Eastern, 2:00 Texas time, and then 12 o'clock midday for you on the West Coast. This one, Wolves, yeah, didn't they just fired their manager as well, didn't they? Forgive me, they did. So their manager, and they haven't named a full replacement. I think they've got a caretaker in at the moment.
I think they have a caretaker in there.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I mean, it's not even a wounded animal. It's just down and out and beaten, right? It's only 2 points this whole season. I mean, haven't even won. They've lost. They've only drawn 2, negative goal difference of 15. I mean, maybe there's a bounce, but the probability here is very unlikely, and you expect Chelsea should be able to comfortably just walk over them and book 3 points here and move up the table a little bit.
If the world is operating in a logical format, yes.
Which it doesn't. Yes. Yeah.
As we all know, it doesn't. But yeah. I do think that if there was ever really a shoe-in, this is one of the shoe-ins.
This is, yeah. They remind me a little bit of like Southampton last season as well. Do you remember? Southampton were just married to this sort of style of play, and they just wouldn't sort of deviate from it, and it was at their peril. And yeah, Wolves are. I mean, it's.
I think the biggest irony about Wolves is when you actually look and watch them play, they weren't abysmal, and they haven't been abysmal, but they've had some terrible luck.
Yeah.
And just, things not going their way. That said, they're in the hole, and they're not going to, this is not the game where they're digging themselves out. No. I mean, unless Maresca decides to just only play, the academy teams. Which
he tends to have this sort of, he does have this penchant for sort of, playing his sort of B team, and then depending on how the first half goes, then bring on the A players. I mean, yesterday against Qarabağ, same thing, played the B team, and then it wasn't going so well. Qarabağ were fantastic yesterday, by the way. They were absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Fast, dynamic, nimble, mobile, all those wonderful euphemisms, not even acronyms, adjectives. That's what I'm looking for. I think Chelsea should have enough firepower to get over the line here. And I understand now why you didn't want to spend too much time on this one, because there's not too much to talk about. Okay. Villa Bournemouth as well. You said you wanted to cover as well.
I do think Villa Bournemouth has again, because Bournemouth is just one of those, sure, they got their ass handed to them last week, but they are the most surprising and dangerous team in the Premier League this year. And so anybody who wants to come in, and of course Villa's topsy-turvy, their ups, their downs. Again, when you're talking about teams that lack consistency, Villa is the other one that I would put in the same category as Spurs. When they are on, they can be fantastic. When they're off, they're just terrible.
Yeah.
And so will the real Villa stand up? I don't know which one's going to show again, but I could guarantee you that Bournemouth will be sprightly. They will be resilient. They will be fast down the wings. They will be, and constantly a thorn in your side. I like Bournemouth in this match, and I think they're gonna. Even though it's at Villa Park, I think they're gonna come in and put a little beat down.
Yeah,
on the Brummies.
Antoine Semenyo, he was kind of outshined a little bit last weekend against Man City as well, so he will probably be ready to go back.
Can't have great games all the time.
Yeah, this is true, and especially against City, who are a respectably strong team, obviously.
Also, he's not going to AFCON because his country didn't qualify. He's Ghanaian, and they didn't qualify for AFCON, so he's eligible for the entire month of December.
There you go. All right, so that's going to be Bournemouth saving grace, whereas, Wolves and Sunderland, should I say, are in a bit of trouble if they do lose players. Okay. Bournemouth have been a revelation, and Semenyo, he's going to get a move. I'm sure there will be lots of suitors in the January transfer window, but if you're Bournemouth and you're Semenyo, it's like, guys, just, stick around. We've made you.
I mean, there was surprise that he didn't get plucked over the summer.
Yeah.
Big surprise. And I'm not, and I was one of them. I would have sworn he would go. However, for the sake of Bournemouth, he is much more valuable now than he was back in the summer. And so anybody who wants to pluck him, you want to pluck that cherry, you're going to be paying dearly for it.
Yeah, you're going to be paying north of 80 million for sure. Yeah, it's going to be market rate, that's for sure. Okay, and then the other one you wanted to cover is your beloved Crystal Palace against Brighton.
Absolutely, it's the M23 Derby, ladies and gentlemen.
M23 Derby, and Palace and Brighton's next to each other in the league, 9th versus 10th as well, which is
no, I mean, this is it, and of course it's at Selhurst, so it'll be a vibrant atmosphere. We'll see whether or not Crystal Palace decides to unveil any tifos that are casting aspersions upon the Brighton owner Tony Bloom, as they did against Marinakis back in the day. And for those who are curious, Crystal Palace is facing charges from the FA on the home because of the actions of the fans on the Holmesdale end who had banners and various things disparaging Mr. Marinakis.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What were they saying exactly about him? Was it?
I cannot actually tell you the specifics, but the only thing that I know is that there were, quote, unfounded allegations towards Marinakis. What's very interesting is that while there is a rule in the FA that you can punish a club for the actions of fans that are disparaging or bring disrepute to the game, etc., or other opponents, it's never really been enforced. Why they're enforcing it against Crystal Palace is interesting. Palace has been subjected to a number of really curious actions from the FA. When Palace has requested the FA move ties, the FA has declined to do so, and yet has done so for every other club that has asked. The club does have a request to move one of their fixtures from the 21st of December to the 20th of December. Get this, in 11 days in December, Crystal Palace have to play 5 games.
That's a lot. That's a lot of soccer, hey? That's
right?
A lot of football.
Because they're in the Europa League, and so the Europa League plays on Thursdays. And then there's an FA Cup tie, quarterfinal cup tie against Arsenal. And then there's also the regular standard league games. So when you talk about a crucible, Crystal Palace faces it big time, right?
Yeah.
Now, is Glasner bitching about it? No. I mean, he's raising the concern that it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also saying, the FA, you've got a responsibility here. And don't sit there and go, oh, you guys went into Europe, it's your fault.
Yeah, one rule for one more.
Don't play that game.
Yeah.
All right. And as for Marinakis, all I need to say is the man is currently on trial in Greece, along with 142 co-defendants. Okay.
Wow.
Charged with inciting football violence and being part of a criminal organization. Now, listen, regardless of how you feel about this particular thing, these charges, in my opinion, are completely ludicrous. They are. He happens to be the owner. The other 142 people are all ultras. And apparently this all stemmed from an event that occurred at a volleyball game, not a soccer match. This is a very large net that's being cast in Greece to draw in a very big whale.
Well, I would say the only thing that is really criminal is his decision-making in terms of sort of running his football club as well. That's for sure. Because
now that you should probably try him for. And that might criminal. Be upcoming somewhere. But for now.
Oh my God.
So whether or not Crystal Palace will suffer any sort of rebuke from the FA because of the actions of some rather outspoken fans who made some allegations against Marinakis, fine. It should also be noted that Marinakis personally intervened in Palace's demotion from the champions, right, from the championship to the Europa League.
The Europa League to the Conference League, is that what it is? So that's sort of where it is.
Europa League to Conference League. That's my bad.
Wow.
Yes, I confused the two. No, he personally testified.
Well, because his team, Forest, his other team had some skin in the game, right?
Gee, what a surprise!
Yeah, what's shocking. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at that. Well, again, if there is any justice or karma in the world, I think it's being exercised. Yeah,
to the game.
If there is any karma or justice, it is being exercised. Just think, 6 months ago, this guy was flying high. Olympiakos, his other team as well, winning the Greek league as well. No problem. Champions League soccer coming. And then Forest were in with a chance. And then, wow, it's just the wheels have really just come off completely, haven't they? That's yes, okay. Let's talk about the game then. Palace Brighton then for that.
Yeah, so, I don't have much to say here. It's a derby. The derbies between these two have always been spicy fixtures, and it flip flops all the time. If there's any justification in this world, I'd say a draw. I think both sides are in great form. Both sides are going to pull out all the stops to win. It's just going to be a question of those little tiny things that come in. Obviously, I want Crystal Palace to win. I think that is, but we don't really know. I'm excited for the game. I think it's going to be a cracker, as these usually are.
Yeah, I tell you who I've really enjoyed watching is Ismail Sarr. He's really good.
He's become a fan. Like Mateta is Mateta. He's doing his thing, but Sarr has been really quite a revelation this year. And this Pino guy, Jeremy Pino, when they signed him, I said, like, Jeremy who? I had no idea who this cat was.
Okay.
And okay.
Yeah.
It's taken him
He's
a
the
little bit of
revelation.
time to get into the groove,
Yeah.
but boy, is he
Yeah.
he's a slippery dribbler. Takes shots quickly. He's going to continue to evolve. And this could be his match to really show himself off.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Speaking of other games to get through as well, is it worth talking about Forest Leeds? I mean, this is, again, as I think your aptly new term, hobo fight. I mean, Forest, you were hoping some Bounce and Deitch would do something for them, but it's not happening, right?
It's a little insulting towards those two teams. Not entirely inaccurate, but I think, no, they're just teams in trouble. And Leeds is Leeds. And in fact, I would have expected nothing other than what they've done so far in the Premier League. If you had asked me at the beginning of the season where they were, I'd say they'd be about here and their performance would be about this.
Yeah.
Forest, no, not so much.
Yeah, Forest,
totally different.
They really have collapsed, yeah. And then, let's bring it home with the marquee fixture of the weekend, Man City against Liverpool.
So delicious.
This is going to be a good one. I hope this is not going to be one of those tight ones. I suspect it's actually going to be an absolute thriller. I think it's going to be an absolute barnstormer as well. You've got Liverpool now all of a sudden have gone through that blip, and suddenly, I mean, they looked really good against Real Madrid in midweek, which was surprising how dominant and strong and how much they contained Real Madrid, and especially with all their firepower and talent that they have, and also how Real Madrid are doing so well in the Spanish league. And then Man City have just been sort of, I mean, look, they're in second place. They've been start, but it feels like Erling Haaland has been single-handedly just dragging them through, or he's been such a good sort of
in league.
That
this is true.
Yeah.
In terms of league play, Phil Foden looked really good yesterday, and it's nice to see him sort of back. The question is, can Foden's form find an outlet in Anfield?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are they playing in Anfield?
No, they're
nope.
playing
They're playing at the Etihad.
Yeah.
This could be a good chance for the young Foden to show that that it's not just the Haaland show, right?
Yeah.
And I think Liverpool will be so focused on Haaland that it does provide opportunities for Doku, for Foden, for Cherki, for all three of those players to step in and make and show that that they've got quality too.
Yeah.
And that's the way I would look at it. I wouldn't look for a lot of goals from Haaland. He might get one or two. He might get one, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'd say that you want to be looking at the other players because they're the ones who can step up in this opportunity, because so much spotlight will be on him.
Well, but what was interesting, I mean,
if you think Van Dijk is going to be anywhere more than like a yard or two off of Haaland's shoulder,
no, he's going to be on.
You got another thing coming. Right? He's going to be all over that guy.
I think the thing is Van Dijk just doesn't have Van Dijk is strong and he's really good. I just don't think he's going to have as much pace as Haaland has to offer, right? But Haaland will just burn him. But we were discussing this when they were playing Bournemouth last weekend.
If they play a high line.
Exactly. Why? So if you're Arnie Slot,
I don't think Liverpool... Arnie ain't going to do it.
Arnie, no we know you're listening as well. We know you're into it. Arnie, just play the low block. Don't give them the high line. Don't give them the space to run into as well, and let them come for you and hit them on the counter as well. And it will be interesting to see how Liverpool line up as well, because Liverpool are also on the upswing. So they'll go into this and saying, look, we can let's get at them and sort of go for them as well. So I think Ekitike has to start. He's been absolutely fantastic. Salah looks as though he's sort of, finding a little bit of form as well, particularly as they come into the African Cup of Nations as well. So I think this will
Salah
be
loves to score against City.
He does, doesn't he? He does.
I'd say that he does it. I mean, he loves to score against City, and so I think this is going to be a great. This game is so filled with opportunity. It could be a 0-0 draw, but it could just as easily be a 4-3 scoreline. I mean,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
It's going to be. I'm hoping for the latter. I want to see goals.
Yeah, goals. Bangers,
I want to see goals. I want to see absolute insanity on the pitch.
Yeah, insanity. Wild red cards early on as well, and just
no. I don't want to see red cards. I want to see good, open play, beautifully crafted goals. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, well, I think we all do. So I think So Arnie, if you're listening, don't play the high line. defend
Low
deep,
block.
and low block and throw some ones over the top for the pace players to get onto. Super. All right. Well, Qooligan, that takes us around a look at that under time as well. So with a few more minutes to play. So we are doing well here. And then aside from that, we have our MLS podcast coming up tomorrow as well, because we're getting deep into the end of the first round of the playoffs as well for the MLS.
Six game threes to be determined. So
game threes. Yeah. So we'll be covering that as well. So if you are into the MLS or do want to, obviously, as always, like, follow, subscribe. So we'll have the MLS one and then we'll be back. But next week, there's no Champions League next week as well. So we'll just have 2 episodes. We'll do
international break next week.
Oh, fuck. Oh, goddamn international breaks. Hey, goddamn international breaks.
Way to bring it on. Way to close it on a low note. Well done.
Oh my God. So we'll be focusing on the MLS then next week as well because of the international breaks. So
the international break will not impact MLS.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Well, Qooligan, as always, thank you very much. Until tomorrow and then next week as well. All right. Thank you very much.
Peace.